Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going over with you all how my Robinhood and M1 Finance portfolios did in 2019. I'm going to be telling you all a little bit about my plans for 2020, and I'm also going to tell you all why I decided to sell the shares I own of one of my favorite stocks. And with that, as Lil Pump would say, let's get it. Alright guys, so here we are in my Robinhood portfolio, and the first thing I'm going to do is show you all how my portfolio did in 2019. So over the past year, I ended up 23.4% on the year, which I'm pretty happy with. Now this is a little bit less than the Standard & Poor's 500, which went up 30.3% this year. But overall, I'm pretty happy with a 23.4% gain. There's absolutely nothing I can complain about. Overall, it was a great year investing. Now, to talk about where I am from when I started the channel. So the very first video I made was titled My $7,800 Robinhood Portfolio. So that should give you all an idea of where I started and where I'm at now. So my portfolio is now valued at $9,217. Which is a little over $1,400 more dollars than I started. Now, over that time period, I did invest about $900, but I also did withdraw about $130, mostly dividends that I had earned to fund my M1 Finance portfolio. So we'll go through and I'll show you all how my portfolio has done recently. So I ended up about down 0.5% on the day, about even over the past week, up to about 2.4% over the past month, up about 9.1% over the last 3 months, up 23.4% over the past year, and all time I'm up a little over 20%. So very happy with how this investing journey has gone. I started funding this portfolio in spring 2017. Pretty much anytime I received a paycheck, I'd try to add at least a little to it. And I really like how it has steadily grown over time. You all can see at one point I was down almost 6% or so. But I stuck with it, kept investing, kept adding money to the portfolio, and so far it has paid off really well. Something else I want to talk about is I received about $180 in dividends this year. I'm pretty happy with that. It's pretty cool that equals about half a dollar a day, which doesn't sound like much, but considering I just started this about 2 years ago, I'm very happy with how it's been. So now I'm going to tell you all about why I decided to sell the shares I own of one of my favorite stocks. So you all have probably heard me talk a lot on this channel about 4 stocks in particular: Visa, Chegg, Waste Management, and Apple. So I actually sold my shares of Apple this past week at $290. So when I very first started this portfolio, or started doing videos about this portfolio, I owned 3 shares of Apple. I had bought all 3 shares at an average price of about $170. And I'll pull up Apple here so you all can see. I purchased 1 share of Apple at about $190 and 2 shares at around $170. So my average cost was actually a little closer to $175, $176. You all then can see that I sold 1 share at $235 and then 2 shares at $288 a piece. So I had a hard time deciding whether I wanted to sell Apple or hold on to it because I really do love Apple as a stock. But I'll show you all this chart, and this might give you a little bit better idea of why I decided to sell it. So if you look at this past year, I mean, Apple has been on a tear. It's up 100%. And keep in mind that this is one of the largest companies in the world. In fact, right now, it is the largest company in the world. So this 5-year chart will give you an even better idea. So I was lucky to get a couple shares at about 170, and it's just gone almost straight up since then. It's been on a tear. So I bought Apple at $170 was about my average cost, and the reason I sold it is because I thought it was starting to get overvalued. I sold one share at $230, which was when I was up about 30%. And then once it got up to 290, I just thought, you know what, now is a great time to take some of my gains off the table. And what really caused me to do this, what made me decide that now was a good time to do it, is the value of Apple stock. That the market share of Apple stock is actually greater than all of the stocks in Germany. So I read a headline that said this, read the article, and it just blew my mind. Actually, Apple and Microsoft are both valued higher than all the stocks in Germany combined. Germany's a pretty big country. Now, Apple is a large global company, but I just don't see how it could continue going up with it being this large. I think in the future, we're facing some possibility of a recession, which would definitely hurt Apple as a technology stock. Technology stocks usually tend to do the worst during a recession. And also, I think there's a chance that, especially if a Democratic candidate was to get elected in the 2020 election, that they would try to do something to either increase regulation on companies like Apple, or maybe even break up Apple into different companies. You all might have heard Elizabeth Warren has talked about breaking up big tech. I would imagine Apple would be one of the companies that she would be planning on breaking up. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on into my M1 Finance portfolio. I just wanted to share with you all how I had done over the past year, and really since I started this YouTube channel, and also tell you why I decided to sell my shares of Apple. And the short explanation of that, like I said, is I just think it is overvalued right now. So with that, we'll move on into my M1 Finance portfolio. All right, so here we are in my M1 Finance portfolio, and this is something I'm really proud of. I'm really proud of how much this has grown since I started it. And right around the time I started the channel back in early August, late July, I had about $250 in my M1 Finance portfolio. That has grown to well over $1,000, and I'm just glad, I've been able to save and invest that money into this portfolio and slowly grow it over time. So I'll show you all how this portfolio has done. So in the last day, I lost about $3.17. Over the past week, I lost about $3.43, which is a loss of 0.3%. Over the past month, I am up about $23, which is about a 2.2% gain. Over this entire quarter, I am up almost 7%, about $57. And all time since I started this portfolio, I am up 10.3%. So something else cool that I would like to show you all is how my dividends have been growing. So if we look at the dividends I received all time over this past year, I have received $10.51. Now, if we change this to the quarter, you all can see that I've received $7.29. Keep in mind, I did start this portfolio about 6 months ago, and I've received the bulk of my dividends over the past few months because I have had the most money invested over these past couple months. Over the past month, I've actually received $3.13 in dividends. So what I think is really cool about this is how my dividends have been increasing over time, and this makes perfect sense because I've been investing money on a periodic basis, but it's still nice to see this income growing over time, and it was just something really cool I wanted to show you all. So over this past week, I've received dividends from Main Street Capital for 6 cents, Bank of America for 5 cents, Chatham Lodging Trust for 5 cents, Capitala Finance Corp for 11 cents, T. Rowe Price for 7 cents, Public Storage for 10 cents, Becton Dickinson for 3 cents, Crown Castle International for 10 cents, Gladstone Investment for 5 cents, Gladstone Land Corporation for 4 cents, LTC Properties for 5 cents, PLD Prologus Incorporated for 6 cents, ADP for 6 cents, Brown Forman for 2 cents, GPC Genuine Parts Company for 7 cents, Walmart for 4 cents, and Kimberly Clark for 7 cents. So it's just cool seeing these dividends come into my account every day. So talking a little bit about my plan going forward, I think I'm going to stick to this M1 Finance portfolio. I don't plan on investing much into my Robinhood portfolio, but I do plan on investing into this M1 Finance portfolio on a regular basis. And that's because this portfolio is filled with a lot of value investments, a lot of companies that I feel are established and are just really reputable companies that I feel will do well in the long term, even if we do have a recession. My fears of us having a recession are certainly growing. The market is at all-time highs, and it's kind of hard to say whether we actually will have one this year or not, because that was kind of what everybody was saying at the beginning of last year too, is that 2019 would be the year that we'd have a recession. So you can never know. About the only thing that you can look at that'll give you some idea is the PE ratio of the Standard & Poor's 500, or any fund that really is a good representative of the entire stock market. And the PE ratio is certainly getting up there. It's nowhere near where it was during the tech bubble of the early 2000s, but the PE ratio is certainly on the higher end of where it's been historically. So it's something to keep your eye on. If we have another just huge run up, where it just seems like the stock market just keeps going up and up and up, and you feel like you can't lose money, that really might be the time to really start to think whether you should scale back your position, add to your bonds, take cash out of the stock market, maybe just keep some cash on the sidelines for a purchase in the future. Just be a little more conservative. But with that, I'm going to wrap up today's video. Thank you all for watching. Please hit that like button down below. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all next time.